those lines. Anyway, but you can jump in if you're. Oh, hey, there we are. Hello and good evening. You are back live with the crew. You are the crew. Wow, what a weekend we had in Las Vegas. I'm going to go over a lot of that tonight. I'm also going to get into some trust your exit strategy, as this is, I should know that number. Episode 20 something. I'm guessing 20 weeks in a row we've been together on this thing. It's amazing to me how time flies when you do a show. If you think your life is busy, start a YouTube channel, and then it's like, well, didn't I just do a channel yesterday? And then I got to do one for tomorrow. It's crazy. It's fun. So I see a bunch of people in here. I see John. I see obviously Becky. I see Bob Markham. I see John Foster. Kaleidoscope Eyes. Love you all. Thank you all so much. I am so fortunate to have any and all of you. Wow, it's pretty nice to come back from Vegas and actually have people that still want to watch your content after the mess that we made of the first day was quite embarrassing, and it wasn't anybody's fault. That was the thing. It was like, well, this technology doesn't want to communicate with that technology. It was crazy. Anyway. Okay, so tonight's show, we're gonna go 40,000 feet. We're gonna really talk about a bunch of stuff that's relevant today. Then we'll really kind of close the show out with what's going on in the world, and what's going on in the world, what's going on with us and our exit strategy. This is going to be very. Oh no, well, you can read that. Okay, maybe you can. Yeah, you can read it. This is our buddy Chris makes these shirts. They're absolutely incredible. Okay, if you can't read that, it says, "Laugh now, but one day XRP will power the world." It's hilarious. I mean, he's got so many great shirts. Speaking of great things and great shirts, I'm going to get him to work on a project with us coming up that we're going to share. I'm guessing that my son and I, this Sunday live stream, we're going to start talking about something coming up in our future you're not going to want to miss. I believe we have, 8-9 months before the date comes, and it will be, we're going to do a big get together, and it's going to be fun. And I'm having more fun than a grown man should have putting this together. And I think it's going to be something special because we're all going to be there. And I'm hoping that we can make it affordable to the average person, everyday person who can get there. So anyway, look forward to much of that coming forward. Okay, I want to talk about something somebody sent me. I was looking at it the other day and I thought, wow, here we are. This is the stuff and the time in which we were talking about, right? We've been talking about this for 6 months, maybe 2 years. What Trump said the other day about what he's going to do with the money was pretty obvious to all of us. This was math. You got a rock and then you got a really hard spot. The hard piece of ground, or you're going to go through the rock or the hard ground? He had to go through the hard ground, of course. It's tough digging. It's not going to be easy. But I think the budget in which they created and the reason why they created such a massive budget is going to create jobs and prosperity in a way that we maybe haven't seen an economic boom like that in a very long time. I'm hoping that's the case. When a man decides that he's going to pretty much eat crow and decide and go back on a lot of the claims and things that he had said and say, well, we can't do that yet. Clearly, I was a little ambitious on that, thinking we're going to have to backtrack a little bit and print some stuff. You and I already knew that because they got $9 trillion of debt they have to pay if they want to keep the, popsicle stand open. If you don't, do what he's doing, well, then you have total debt collapse and then the global economy. Well, it could go Mad Max. I mean, nobody wants to see that, correct? So the door is going to be opening and closing. Oh, yeah, I know. People go, oh, wow, the creepy door sound. Yeah, I'm laughing.
Sorry.
Somebody at the show was laughing at me going, it sounds like a coffin opening and close. I was like, I'm gonna get around the oil on those hinges real soon. So when Trump gets to the point where he has to admit that he actually likes, Pocahontas, I mean, dogs are sleeping with cats. I don't know how else you say that. You just, oh my God, what's happening here? Like they agreed on something. It was tough to listen to, but it's a necessity. But this time, when you hand money to a businessman and you hand a massive budget to a businessman with the sort of crew and the council and the people around him that he's created, I'd like to think that they're going to do something a little bit better with it this time than they have in the past. And I'm not just talking about his past. I'm talking about all the politicians' past. They seem to spend it on, frivolous things. I do believe this time they're going to really incorporate crypto. I happened to be at the Bitcoin show, and I happened to be there when both of his sons were talking about what they were going to do with Bitcoin. You can look those interviews up. I heard Eric Jr. from his mouth say, well, actually, we're not interested in industry as a whole. We're the two sons. My dad's interested in industry. We're into crypto and AI in that order. He was in a private little stage, and I'm sure you guys probably saw it and posted something in that order. They are going to crush crypto. Why? Because of all the millions of reasons that we've been talking about on this channel forever and ever. But the big reason is this. Crypto has no debt. Crypto has no affiliation. No, it doesn't have anything holding it back. You don't have to pay to build the building to create a prosperous corporation with crypto. This is an avenue that the world is yet to really grasp or wrap its head around the monetary strength that this asset has. So let's just talk about that for a minute. Which the Trump sons clearly get this. You've got all these trillions of dollars that are locked up in debt. We're talking about financial debt. We're talking about when they built the Empire State Building 100 years ago, still isn't even paid off, because why would you do that? You just completely roll the debt over and debt over and debt over and debt over. All physical things in that manner need more liquidity and they need more debt, and you just roll over the payments and you just say, oh, okay. You never want to pay the old debt off. You and I have to, and you and I want to, but they never want to. Why? Because a debt-based, call it what it is, Ponzi scheme has to constantly have new people in the Ponzi, right? That's how you keep a Ponzi afloat. Well, the way they do it is create more debt. And if the value of the debt increases annually, you can keep the Ponzi alive. But if everybody decided to pay all the trillions of dollars back, we would have deflation. Deflation would crash the evaluations of all things. That's why they say we need 2% inflation for a happy economy. We don't. We could go to an honest and sound system, and we've had it many times in man's civilization. However, that's not the Ponzi that they're playing. So where do we look for new places to put debt? Well, we liked real estate for many years. We like college educations. Well, we like to pump, $1.5 trillion into that. Let's get these young people started off right, just being completely in debt. Why not? It's the American way. All of that is not necessary, as you and I in crypto know. What we know is we can create a fair and honest system that is open sourced on a ledger that basically says, you need money? I got money. Here, give me a little bit. I'll give you my money. You can use it. You can get back with me. Real simple system. They're not ready for it yet. So what the two Trump boys pretty much spoke very clear when they said that, they said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to move forward with this new system. We're going to let my dad do my dad's thing. We're going to crush this thing. And the thing they're talking about crushing is pulling all that quadrillion dollars of old debt, and they're going to leverage against it. They're going to borrow against it, and they're going to buy and pump it into crypto, starting with Bitcoin. I've already talked about nation states. I don't hear what the Russians are doing, but the Russians are creating bonds on Bitcoin. China has opened up not just Hong Kong, they've opened up their entire country to Bitcoin. Nation states, one after another. State of California decided that Bitcoin is now a monetary asset. Let's remember, whether or not you like the politics of California, which I happen to live here and I don't, but they determined that Bitcoin is money. Let's remember, they're the fifth largest nation in the world is California. This is happening now. You are at the leading edge of what is happening with the future of all monetary wealth. The old dollars. So let's think about this. So what's the big play here for the Trumps? Well, let's see. Daddy has a money printer, and we want him to buy crypto. Well, what have we known from a man who's been around crypto for 16 years? And what do we know from the white papers? The country who prints money first, their own money, and buys Bitcoin, I'm going to say Ethereum, I'm going to say XRP, I'm going to say Solana, because why would you print money and just buy Bitcoin? You probably wouldn't do that. You're probably going to buy the top 5 at least, right? Why not cover your bases since you're printing money anyway? Let's get to it. Why would you print money to buy money? That doesn't make any sense. You already got money. You know what money can purchase you. It can purchase you the debt of your people. You're indebting your people. But if you finally have enough people that understand, like the two sons do, hey, wait a minute, we don't have to enslave anybody. We can print money to buy crypto. Actually brought up more than once in the white paper. Many people have just talked about it for 16 years. The country who does that first will rule the world going forward. That's big. That's happening now. Russia is in a sovereign arms race with the United States. The United States understands that. China understands that. Let's remember when this channel started, our third show, my son and I were laughing at China for kicking the miners out of China. We were laughing, going, that's probably going to be, the man will look back at 2021 and say that China made the biggest mistake of their life. I did a video about that in 2021. We were laughing at him, going, you're an idiot. You don't understand either math or you're afraid of something that you, by the way, you think you can control. You can't control this. You're incapable of controlling this entire asset class. You cannot. You can't get a big enough army to get rid of XRP. There's just no stopping it. Like Ms. Torres said, I mean, this is not Ripple. Ripple is not in control of XRP. XRP is out there. It's a virus. It can't be stopped. The only way to stop it is purchase them all and hold them in one wallet and nobody ever uses them again. Good luck on that. That's not going to occur. All of that big picture political world in which I just discussed with you, when you go to a Bitcoin show and the sheiks and the people walking by and every country was represented, and you're looking at it and you're like, I've been to a few conventions. I've never been to a convention where that many nationalities were all in one room. The world is here. The world was at that. That was, I heard the final numbers were 33,400 people in one building. And it will be 40,000 next year, easily. And the amount of industry, the amount of banking institutions, they were boldly, had massive, I don't even know, hundreds of thousands of dollars they spent on these booths and these robots and these like waterfalls, and the technology in the room was just like mind-boggling. And everybody's standing around going, we're here, we're here. And then you walk out of the building and everybody in the world doesn't even know what crypto is. It's sad. It's like one of these things. It's this forced reality. You get in a cab or Uber and the guy has no idea what you're talking about. And he's the man who needs it the most. That's the person who needs it now. Buy it now. Because by the time your government buys it, it might be a little pricey. It could get a little pricey for you. So a concept that I was talking to, as you all know, I had well, you don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, that was only a video on Rumble. If many of you may have seen it. I had a fantastic interview with Mr. Clinton Donnelly. And Clinton Donnelly wrote a book about crypto taxation. He is the god of crypto and taxes. By the way, look him up, get a hold of him. Clinton Donnelly is an amazing man. I'm going to have him on one of these Thursday night shows. We'll have to record it as he's like 9 hours ahead of me. So that's just not going to work for us. He lives in Portugal or wherever he lives. It's just not going to work. So he and I will record something. I'll post it on one of these Thursday night shows. He and I had a fantastic interview. You should really look that up on Rumble. He brought up a point that I'd heard, and we were talking prior to the filming of that show. He kept talking to me about this and that, and like this. I say, hey, what do you know about this European rush that's coming to America? And his eyes lit up. He was so excited to talk about it. He says, come on, let's talk about that on your show. Let's save that. I've got something for you that's really big. I had seen all of these people from all over the world. And it was something fundamentally that I didn't understand as being an American. And I'm going to go ahead and go over it. And those of you who've seen the show, it might be a bit repetitive. But this crazy American did not understand something. We think that everybody in the world gets taxed when they work overseas. No, virtually there's very few countries, but Americans get taxed no matter where you work. If you work in Africa, you get taxed on your income here in America for that income. I know, greed, right? Yeah, kind of crazy. Isn't that a little strange that, yeah, well, wait a minute, I didn't use any of the facilities. I didn't get any representation. I was out of the country. What do you mean? How does that work? Anyway, we won't get into it. That's for another show. But Europeans, when they work in America, get a work visa, or they work for a company. One little key little twist that Trump hit everybody with that a lot of people missed was, hey, you know what I'm going to let you guys do? If you want to build a factory in America, Volkswagen, hello, Volkswagen, why would you build it in Mexico? Think about this, guys. They get to build a factory. Even in Mexico, it takes 10 to 15 years to write off that debt. Every dime that takes to build a factory in America today, they get to write off the first year. It doesn't have to take a 30-year write-off. That means by year 2, the building's making you money. It's amazing. I don't want to get into it right now because it's a whole tax deal, but I'm telling you right now, part of what he did was to encourage business from all over the world to build a building and a factory in this country. Now, the real sweet spot for crypto, because, XRP doesn't really need a building. Bitcoin doesn't need a building. So where are you going with this, Al? What do we need? We need technology. Whether you like it or not, China has outmatched America as far as technology. Sure, Silicon Valley, we were way ahead of everybody. We had everybody beat, but everybody's caught up. And if you look at the kids coming out of college today, well, I listened to some stuff out of MIT, which is really brilliant. Some of the lectures I listened to over there is really amazing stuff. And AI and crypto is blowing up. I don't know if you guys know this. A third of all the students that graduated at MIT are specializing in cryptography. Why? Because they know where the ball is going. The other 2/3, AI. Like they're not coming out of MIT designing a new tire, a new car, a new vehicle. Like literally 90% are either in AI or crypto. But we can't compete because I don't know what happened to our educational system, but it's really not all that great. I don't understand it. I don't want to get into that at this moment. What I am saying is there are some brilliant people in Germany, Spain, Italy, UK, Hong Kong. All of those countries can come and work here for whatever crypto company, whatever company that builds a building, whatever company opens up technology in this country, which, by the way, if you know anything about what's happening in Florida and Texas right now, the tech boom there is like larger than Silicon Valley. It's exploding right now, in particular with crypto and AI. As we all know, we've heard the largest crypto exchange being built in the world is going to be in Texas. We heard a lot about that at the Bitcoin show, and everybody's talking about Q3 26. That is not that far away. Why are they doing that? They're getting out of corrupt New York. The Wall Street is corrupt. The banking system has corrupted that entire financial institution. So they want to get to a state where they can be free and understand, hey, if you want to build it here, and we'll leave you alone. Howard Lutnick, has already come out publicly and said, we are not throwing red tape, regulations, or bureaucracy at anybody who wants to do business in this country. We're not doing that. So what is that going to do with America? You remember the gold rush where people came from China, they came from Ireland, they came from everywhere to go to California to try and strike it rich? We are about to see a crypto gold rush. I saw the very beginning of it when I was in Las Vegas. I was like, oh my God. And I even talked to an individual who had gone to Nashville, and it was nothing like that. This show was the world came there. The world came there because of the Trump sons. The world came there because of Trump. The world came to America because of our SEC change. The world came to America in a technology, in particular crypto way, because of our country's leadership currently today. Despite whether or not you like the man, it's open for business. Please come here and do business. Please get a gold pan and pan your fortunes in the crypto world here in this country. Because why? We have to compete with Russia and China, and we need your help. We need your smart young minds to come here and show us and help us, and we can build together, because that is what this country is good at. Believe it or not, our forefathers were very insightful in the sense that they said, we will take your masses, we will take your weak, we will take your poor, and we will prosper. And that is what we're going to do. That's what's coming to you. This is all happening right now. The banking institutions have no choice. They can no longer keep slamming doors in our faces. They were there at the show. Their presence was becoming more and more obvious. Goldman Sachs had a booth there. I mean, it was, I think I told you already, Shell Oil had a massive booth at a Bitcoin show. This is big. So what does that mean when a European comes to America and pans for his technological knowledge and he shares it in an American company and American crypto companies? I know cryptos are global. I know, I get that. But the hub of the information, the technology could be built here, and it could build out from here, going around the world with stable coins and the rest of it, right? Those tech minds are creating better wallets, easier application, stuff that your grandma is going to be able to use, cryptography, like boom, 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 no problem. They wouldn't even know they're using it. They're going to think they're sending money with a text. We need all that built in the background. Well, they're coming here to help us build all of that. You know how I use this analogy. You know how some shows you go to, and like just a couple of years ago, the shows were like models walking around and looking great, and the company that got the booth got some beautiful model or whatever. The booths this year were a bunch of nerds. I would walk up to there was a hamburger joint, right? Steak and Shake had a giant booth there because they take Bitcoin, because they're smart. So remember the pizza story, right? Guy bought 2 pizzas and it's worth $1 billion today. The booth has nerds in it. I thought, well, I'm going to walk up and I'm a pretty sharp guy. I can figure this out. Oh, with his technology, boom. Somebody who studies crypto for a living, essentially, they were blowing my mind with the tech and where they were telling me where crypto was going. I couldn't even conceive of the ideas and the concepts. It was unbelievable. That's where we're at. This is where we're here now, right? The amount of people that were speaking Portuguese, German, it was unbelievable. The amount of people from Brazil and Germany blew my mind. I was like, what? Oh, of course you're from Brazilian, of course. I went to an after party and it was 150 Brazilians there. Thought it was in Brazil. I mean, it was like, wow. And I got invited by a friend who's a bot trader. This is exciting times. Let me get to the punchline of what Mr. Clinton told me. All of that technology and all of those minds are coming to America for one big reason, Allan. Opportunity. Opportunity is in America, not in Germany. It's not in Europe. I don't know what's going on over in Europe, but they keep dropping the ball. And they drop it, and they drop it, and they pick it up, and they drop it on their foot one more time. They are about to lose themselves. They remind me of the US the last 4 years of just doing everything possible to keep crypto from growing. Our past regime was like clearly crypto. And I don't understand it. I never did understand it. I thought it was almost criminal what they were doing. And choke point 2.0 was a real thing. And in fact, I've even heard there's prosecution coming forward about a lot of that. Anyway, that's not what this is about. Those Brazilian people who were in that room were doing everything they could to learn English. All of them, almost like I'd like to learn one day. They were amazing to listen to. Because they come to this country and they just see opportunity everywhere. The beautiful part, stop and think about this now, they don't pay a dime in tax. They stay home in Germany, they get taxed through their nose. European tax is absurd. Why would a European stay there? So everybody says, oh, well, Trump's locking off the border. He's not going to let anybody in. You don't think he's going to let brilliant minds come here? Well, of course he is. Of course he is. And those people are going to want to come here because they get to work and make money in the most profitable growing industry on this planet right now. The two, AI and crypto, are blowing up. These people get to work tax-free income. And in most cases, depending on where they live, get paid double what they would get paid at home. And as you and I know how wallets work, they can send money home for virtually nothing. This is why this country is headed towards prosperity, not towards recession. And those numbers that you hear, Jay Powell tell you, oh, jobs, and there's more unemployed people than there's ever been. Well, of course there is. Of course there is. Because old legacy system is dying. It's not prospering. It won't. It can't. It cannot compete. It's not going to compete with AI. It just can't. That's what's occurring. That's what this man got from that show. On another topic, I want to talk to people in particular because a lot of people don't own any Bitcoin on this channel. And I'm with you. I'm completely with you. I understand why. I get it. You should own a ton of XRP. If you don't own any Bitcoin or XRP, well, first of all, you're on the wrong channel. But I mean, second of all, I don't know what you're looking at, but you might want to look into getting one of the two of them. The commentary that was at the XRP show, the rumblings and the people on stage and the people in the background and the things I was hearing behind camera, all of it was institutional. There's nobody buying. The public is not buying Bitcoin. The public is not buying XRP. If you look at the volumes of XRP, they've declined over the last month. That's because institutions aren't buying over the counter. There's not. So our volumes have decreased. We've gone sideways and we're flat. Well, how much longer is that going to last, Allan? Well, I don't know. But I will tell you, the big gorilla in the XRP room, the big gorilla in the room is July 15th. And that day is coming, my friends. And when ISO hits the banking community smack in the face, and they know, and the people at the top of the banking system know, but when they have to be ISO compliant, it's going to hit everybody. Everybody's going to know it, and everybody's going to see it. You're going to, it's going to, those tech booms that where you don't think much about it, you haven't heard a lot about it, and then all of a sudden everybody's got one in their hand. That's kind of where we're at right now with XRP. No, it's not being intentionally suppressed. It's not being held down. It's none of those things. But I will tell you, when you look at a chart, you punch up whatever, CoinGecko or Coinbase, and you say, oh, well, let's see, 105,000, 4,000, or 3,000 for Ethereum, and then you see $2.20 for XRP. Public gonna buy XRP, period. That's how they think. That's how they operate. When I talk about XRP in that light, it's not because it's cheap. It's because nobody understands the technology. People in Bitcoin don't understand XRP at all. I talk to them about XRPL and they're like, well, what do you got on your ledger? It's like, well, what do you want? We got it. Well, okay, you don't have any smart contracts yet. Yeah, we got NFTs, we got all that. What do you need? We're about to have, ETFs. I don't know what, next week, 2 weeks before the end of June. When you look at what the ETFs are about to do to XRP, I'm not in the prediction business, as many of you know. However, I am going to say it's not going to stay where it is. Those ETFs are being marketed, except for BlackRock. We know I can't wrap my head around that one quite yet. But if you listen to Jake and a few other people, they'll tell you, oh yeah, no, we got that all figured out. We know why they're doing that. And they're gonna come in. Don't worry about it, Al. They're coming. The ETF market alone had a presence at the Bitcoin show that was, it changed the whole game for Bitcoin. It changed the entire game for Bitcoin, and the products that are being built are, okay, let me just say this. I know many of you don't like Michael Saylor. I get it. I understand. He's the smartest guy in Wall Street. He's not in Wall Street. He's the smartest guy in finance right now today. He's making Wall Street look like idiots. All of them. He's offering product after product after product. Let me tell you what that man just did, what he announced at the show, and what a lot of people who don't understand bonds and how bonds work in correlation to or uncorrelated to stocks and equities. This is what that man did. Okay. What did we hear for 10 years about Bitcoin? Oh, it's too volatile. Only somebody who doesn't trade or understand trading thinks that volatility is a bad idea. The biggest reason why when I traded Forex, we used to trade the pound yen. Why? It had the most movement. Hello? The more it moves, the more opportunity you have to catch a move. I mean, the US euro would just go sideways. It would go up 2 points and down 2 points in one day. You need volatility to trade. Bots, Wall Street, trading firms, retirement funds, they need vol. If you don't have volatility, you don't have a market. Listen to what the brilliant man, Mr. Saylor, did. He had a perfect product, okay? MSTR. And then he went over here and he said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a bond in. So he bonded his company on one side, and I'm talking in generalities here now, so I can get everybody to understand what the man did. He has a stock, which what do we know about stock? We always want stock to go up, right? You really don't want your stock. Anybody that owns stock, they never want to see it go down. I know a lot of people short it and make money at it. But in general, you want to buy a stock and have it go up over time. Well, he knew that. He's like, okay, always go up. Not a good thing to only have up. So what does a bond do? Bond trades in the opposite direction, correct? So he bonded the thing on the other end. So what is he doing? He's going stair step. He's going, okay, my stock's going up. My bond evaluations I can create more bond evaluations, okay, with a coupon. And that coupon rate, I can adjust, and then I can bring more people into the bond, which lowers. So he's teeter-tottering the two. He has now total control of his entire corporation net asset value. He's at the driver's seat. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, is that even legal? Yes, actually it is, believe it or not. It's not legal in Japan. I don't know if you guys knew. In Japan, you can't short a stock. You can't short anything in Japan. It's kind of an interesting little angle. We used to run into that when we were trading the yen. Okay, so here's the deal. He walks the stock up. As the stock's going down, the yield on the bond is going up. His people are profiting going all the way up. Remember when I was talking to people over the last couple of weeks when I went over what MSTY is? MSTY is his strategies product that is a high yield. That's what the Y in Misty is. That high yield needs vol. If you don't have volatility, you don't have high yield, because what you're doing is you're allowing them to use your market, your stock valuations, and they want to trade the spread, whatever it is. You're trading arbitrage, just like AMMs, right? It's the same thing. So he's saying, here you go. Wall Street, trust funds, hedge funds, venture capitalists, banking institutions, insurance corporations were everywhere at the Bitcoin show. They have trillions of dollars in assets, and they want to make a 2 to 5 to 10, 15% return on their money monthly, because that's what they're paying people who own hundreds of billions of dollars in these funds, in these insurance companies. We've talked about that on this channel. Simon and I did a series of 15 shows about that. You can become your own banker. You can look those shows up. We'll do more of those in the future. But these insurance corporations need a yield. Look at CalPERS. It's dying. The teachers and the firemen and the police in the fifth largest country in the world, which happens to be California, their pensions are dying because they cannot, through the banking system, generate. They promised an 8% return to their firemen and their teachers. We're not getting anywhere near 8%. There's no way. They should have never promised that. It was absurd that they thought that they could generate that on no way. You're not going to be able to do that. So now they do. Why? How? Because this man now has the volatility in which he can trade that product to massive hedge funds. And these hedge funds can go, holy smokes, look at the spread between these two on a daily basis. I can trade them opposing each other, and the arbitrage between the two is nothing but pure profit. And they're going to make, I'm not kidding you, look at the numbers, anywhere between 15 to 25% monthly with no debt. Think about this now. No debt, no employees, no problems, no headaches, no liabilities, no paint the building, no it needs new carpet, none of that. And look at the returns I just told you they're making. Of course they can give you 7, 8, 10% a month. A month I'm talking about. Why would that ever stop? The only thing that could get that to stop is if he stops buying Bitcoin. Listen, everything, when I talk about Michael Saylor, just if you're an XRP person, just take the word Michael Saylor out of your head and put in Brad Garlinghouse, because that's where I'm going now. What I'm talking about is, let's stop and think about this. Ripple has an escrow. I don't know, what are we at? 30, 40 billion XRP coins. He doesn't have to buy them, Brad Garlinghouse. Ripple doesn't have to buy these coins the way Michael Saylor had to. He didn't have to leverage his stock evaluations to create, I think strategies, MicroStrategies, he calls it strategies now. I don't think strategy, I think they have like 8 different products now. What do you think is going to happen with Hidden Road now that Ripple bought Hidden Road, which is a $3.5 trillion brokerage? They're going to pull a Michael Saylor, and they already own the coins. I was sitting back, and when you looked at Brad Garlinghouse, he looks like the cat that ate the canary. He is just like, we are about to crush this. Like, there was no fear in the man's eyes. He's like, we're way out ahead of this whole ETF thing, kids. We own the brokerage. And I personally, I don't think they're ever going to buy Circle. The only reason why they would buy Circle is because it's very profitable business, but they don't need it because of what I just told you. They're going to generate their own markets. They're going to generate the bond decline side of the return, the long end of the curve. They're going to be in control of the long end of the curve of a bond written in XRP. And the high end of the other curve, the short-term money, if you will, is going to be your retail price of equity. not equity. XRP coins, those things that you own, because you don't own a stock. You own better than a stock. You own the company. You own the product. You own the corporation. You own the entire enchilada when you own XRP, the coin. I hope that really, if you guys really kind of understand what I had going there. This is big. The man showed us the way. Love him or hate him. You think I'm nuts. You think he's nuts. It doesn't matter. The man blew the top off the court. Every person I talked to, not every person, every other person I talked to at the Bitcoin show was talking two words: treasuries and who's doing it next. There's 3 tech companies a day duplicating what the man said. I listened to that man do a video in 2021, and he said, what I'm doing is I'm tutoring all the business executives on how to monetize crypto. I'm just going to call it crypto because Bitcoin triggers a lot of people. How to monetize a treasury of cryptocurrencies. There's 2 or 3 a day. You understand the next economic boom is going to be created, and you're going to see astronomical returns coming to corporations. And all they have to do is put XRP on their books. That's it. Right now they have to put Bitcoin on their books. Why? Well, because they just do. Then the next wave, and by the way, this is only 6 months away from what I'm hearing. Once his bonds get a rating, a BBB, a AAA rating, of course he's going to get a AAA rating. They have absolutely no debt. Think about that. Of course it's a AAA product. Let's think about this. Okay. You are sitting there and you're a municipality and you want to create a bond. Okay, you need to create a bond. Okay, all right, we need $50 million to create a new school. Okay, all right. So let's write these bonds and we get the community and other people. Municipal bonds are a really safe bet because we know they'll pay them back and it's good money and we get it. But let's look at the world we live in. How long is it going to take them to generate all that? Well, it's a 10-year bond and you're going to get 5% annually coupon rate. And, we've built a school in the end. Hey, that's awesome. That's good stuff. You built a school. Let's see, do schools make money? Not really. I mean, they kind of, teachers are employed and there's employment. Doesn't really make any money. They're a hole in which to put money in, for sure. So let's go. What are we going to do? You're going to write a bond now on something that is, I don't know, XRP has gone up, 400% in the last year? In 1 year? Let's even go back 10 years. How much has it gone up? I don't know, 5 times, 5x, something like that? Maybe 10? Now you've written municipal money on an asset. Even if you're talking about Bitcoin, it's at least 40% annual return if you look at a 10-year span. So are you going to put your money into a bond that's going to build something that is of virtually no value at the end of 10 years? Or are you going to put your money in a bond that is, I don't know, if you don't even like Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. At least if you get even 10% of the return of what that is over 10 years, on a 10x, you doubled your money. That's impossible in any other bond in the planet. So instead of you deciding you're going to get dollars back 10 years from now, especially with XRP, you're going to get crypto back. Or evaluations in dollars. But let me take it one step further. Can you imagine, how are you and I going to live in a world that says, I've got all these Europeans and all these tech people out of MIT, and they're going to create these incredible bots and this AI. And let's remember the AI is walking around with, I don't know, the capability of chat GPT in its head, this robot. So you have all of that, and you're saying, wow, let's see, how relevant is anything 10 years from now? Why? I'm going to get 5% annual return on a bond 5 years from now. I don't even care if you're talking about Apple. Is Apple even relevant 5 years from now? Gee, would you bet on that? I mean, personally, would you bet on that? I don't know. So remember what Wall Street does. Remember what the great, brilliant minds, okay? What do? They run on evaluations in the future. What is the evaluation of Apple next year? The year after that, the year after that, the year after that. That's why the stock goes up, because they are relevant out into the future. I just went over why bonds probably aren't. Who wants fiat? Do you want fiat back? Not this man, right? I don't want fiat. I don't want fiat returns. And if you're going to give me fiat returns, they better at least keep up with 40% annually. They better at least keep up with what XRP's done over the last 5 years. Or why would I invest in it? I'll just buy more XRP. Who can come out? Let's say the greatest robot company, let's say Elon comes out with a robot that every household has to have. Is he going to promise you 40% annual returns on that company? Boy, I don't think so. I don't think so. The world figured that out. The world came to America to a Bitcoin and XRP show and went, oh boy. The value of all the stinky old debt is going to be liquidated. By the way, this doesn't work out well for property, by the way. Look, I own property. I don't want to see its value go down, but the only thing holding the value of property up right now, the only thing is that you can leverage yourself like 9 to 1, right? They'll let you borrow $1 million to buy it, depending on your income and whatnot, obviously. That leverage that you're buying a 30 years out on, that you know you're going to have a house 30 years from now, is the only reason why they'll allow you to buy a house today. But is your house going to return 40% annually? Nope. And by the way, it's got to be painted and it needs carpet. See, you and I understand everything I've said tonight. You and I get where this whole picture's going. The world is figuring that out. The world is figuring out, oh boy, everybody who bought those coins 5 years ago are at least 5x up. And then you look at which coins have a relevant future. Remember what that thing says. Is that shirt classic or what? I love Chris, man. I love you, brother. What an incredible dude. That is where tech is going. That is where money's going. I just explained to you that we don't even have to be the transactional leader of the planet. I just told you, I just built a financial plan for you that Brad Garlinghouse already knows. Think about it. He already knows everything I just said. And he has a brokerage to do it with. He's going to take what Michael Saylor's done, and he already owns this escrow, billions of dollars of escrow, and he's going to borrow against it. And he's going to blow people's minds, and you own those coins. Yeah, we're going to be the transactional leader, and technology's coming, and ISO's coming, and we understand all that stuff. But the future movement of all money is now going to be backed in asset value. In other words, the old days, hey, I need a new car. Well, what do you got? Well, I work really hard. I work 40 hours a week, and I show up to work every day, and I got a credit score. So on my back, I'll write that paper and say this, and they'll give you money. Not anymore, guys. The future is, well, I got these 50,000 XRP coins. Does that count for much? Well, sit right here, Mr. Staple. Sit right down. Let's talk. Well, haven't you done well for yourself? We just happen to like folks like you. You have a real asset there, don't you? Don't get me wrong. Gold is right there. Right there. Silver, gold, the top 10 coins that I keep talking about. I don't care if you don't own XRP or Bitcoin. I don't really care. If you own a ton of Cardano, you're going to be just fine. Same thing. Okay. If you own a ton of Solana, you're going to be just fine because you're the future asset. And I just explained to you how important asset is to banking. You're not just going to borrow against this. People are going to pay you. You're going to get monthly returns that mankind has never seen before. And you're not going to have to share your seed phrase. This is the time to be alive. The only thing that this man is sad about is that I'm 65 years old. Doggone it, that I can't even believe what the next, 30, 50 years is going to be. And, clearly I'm not going to be around for a lot of that. But, I mean, the next 10, I hope to be with all of us here and more. It's so unbelievable to be a part of this whole thing. It's an absolute privilege to walk in a building. I know it cost me a dear penny, and it cost me, but I brought Simon with me. Simon and I went together, and we went to both shows together. And I'm telling you, it was the future of the world. And I know I said this in my video that came out yesterday. Look, man, if you're just going to the XRP show, if your interest is cars, don't just go to the Chevy show. Go to the show with all the cars are there. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really hard. This tribalism is it's really got me. And I love you, Mr. Brad Garlinghouse, for getting on a stage in front of 1,500 XRP fans and saying this tribalism has to stop. Has to stop. And I know it's the Bitcoin Maxi's fault. That's BS. I never heard anybody in the Bitcoin building bag on any other coin. Never did. But you go to an XRP show and they'll bag about Bitcoin guys all day. So we have to really wake up and we have to understand we want to be the guy in the room. I want Bitcoin to succeed. I want Ethereum to succeed. You notice this man was not part of the Ethereum bashing movie. Was I asked to be? Why did I say no? Because I don't roll like that. We have to be bigger. We have to be the big people in the room. And the thing, sometimes I'm going to toot my own horn here. All those people, we did this movie about the Ethereum's the problem in the world. They got a better deal than us. And those guys are criminals and all the rest of that movie was all about. Don't get me wrong. I went to the premiere and everybody that was in the movie I love, and they're great people. And they're all very good friends of mine. the work that was put in was unbelievable. And I'm not bagging on the movie. It's not my point here. My point is this. It wasn't even 6 months later, and RLUSD came out. And you know what every one of those people was happy about? It was on the Ethereum ledger. Every one of those was bragging, hey, RLUSD came out and we're on Ethereum. Wow, wow. After you just threw them under the bus with a movie. You got to be careful here, guys. We're all in this together. I don't care about your tribalism. I don't even own any Ethereum. But I'm not going to throw them under a bus. We know what happened to Sam Bankman was not good for anybody that owned XRP. We didn't have anything to do with it. Nothing. We didn't have anything. He didn't even own XRP. I don't think he's ever even traded XRP. Billionaires are here now. The trillions of dollars that are coming flooding into a bag near you is now. It's time. It's time for us to own our brother and sisters on the coin next door and have their back. And when somebody starts talking crap about it, tell them the truth. Hey, look, man, I don't know any of that, but what are you trying to prove by just telling everybody to hate it? What are you trying to do? Trying to make yourself look smart? Let's remember about people that tell you about doomsday and what's wrong and what's always wrong with the world and everything. They do that to make themselves look smart, number one. Number two, they do it to get clicks. And number three, it keeps you and them in fear. And fear is not your friend, okay? Who has no time for that? Entrepreneurs have no time for that. People who are living in prosperity have no time for that. People who make money into money and turn money into family outings and pleasure and with other people and understanding that we're all in this lifetime together, they don't have time for hate. They're too busy living an incredible life. And that's what's coming to us. That's what's here for this man. The amount of passion that people poured out to me, even at the Bitcoin show, there were people coming up to me wanting my picture, and I like, amazing. I don't know why anybody would want a picture of this old guy, but the point of the matter is, people love people in the industry because we're all in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, you're in the industry. You're part of a team, a crew in this case, of people who own coins, plural coins, who saw the revolution long before everyone else. That makes you brilliant. Do you understand that? Do you understand that there's potentially rooms that you'll be in and places you'll be, family members and others, that you're going to be the aunt or the uncle that they're going to want their photo with because you understood the future of all mankind? Telling you. It's not just for YouTube guys or Brad Garlinghouse. This is for all of us. Are changing the face of the future of monetary movement. And what is collateral? What is liquidity? What is an AMF? What is a DEX? How do they work? How does people make money? How do these trust funds getting so rich? Trust funds are going to get richer than they've ever been rich before. Retirement funds are going to be richer than they've ever been before. The best thing our Social Security could do right now would be to buy the top 5 coins now, with every spare nickel they have. This isn't rocket science. This is proof. I got to get off here. It's been over an hour, but I told my son a story, B-Man, and he'll vouch for me. I think it was 6 years, we were putting this big garden in, and we were sitting under, trying to get out of the heat, sitting in the shade. And I said, son, there's going to come a day when nation states will buy Bitcoin, and they will never sell it. And they will buy more and more and more and more until all of it's owned by countries. And the people who never sold their Bitcoin, well, their grandkids will be bigger than trust fund babies. And back then, he argued with me about it. I'm just saying. It's amazing. The movement of money and the storage of wealth is here. It's here now. And you're blessed because you bought the right coins. If you're on this channel, you got the right coins. And I can't urge enough. This is not an accident that gold is going up right now and silver. Because those assets, those premium assets, they're so liquid. That's the liquidity of crypto is what's blowing banks' minds. Do you understand on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m., you and I can buy a $10 million mansion like that? I want that house today, Sunday. Okay, boom, send me the money. I'll take it. We're there. When you have, I know you guys know this because you've heard me tell the story a million times, but when you have that kind of, that's called velocity. Velocity of money is, I gave a person $1, that person gave the person next to him, that person owed him $1, and he owed $1, and that person owed $1, and that person owed me $1, so that person gave me $1 back. How many dollars were spent? $6 was spent with the same bill. That's velocity of money, okay? Crypto is the ultimate velocity of money. It's the ultimate velocity. People are going to get paid every hour. Every hour. That's already happening. You understand these banks holding your check for a week and all that crap is just gone. Gone. And they're thieves. And we all know it. These credit card companies, I want you guys to listen to this. I got a few minutes here. I want you guys, when you listen to this, it'll blow your mind. Do you know that MasterCard and Visa have never lost $1? They've never lost $1. That's a shame, right? Like everybody should have some kind of losses, right? Because they get to print money the moment that you spend it. MasterCard does not have a big giant bank. So when you spend that money got created out of thin air the moment you spent it. When you call back and you say, hey, I want to pull out these, I bought something stupid. My wife bought it. I think she was drunk. Or we don't remember buying that. Erase that off my account. It doesn't come out of Visa's pocket. Have you ever noticed that, like, you go bankrupt or something like that, you owe Visa $10,000 or something, and it just goes away? Hello, just goes away. Magic poof. Because there was no ledger. There is no ledger. They've been given carte blanche to steal 25% from you every single month for that $10,000 that you know that you're never going to be able to pay back. So you pay the monthly. It's criminal. And then I hear people tell me, oh, wow, well, yeah, I heard that Ripple's working with, MasterCard. And we don't need those criminals. That's what crypto is. Peer-to-peer, person-to-person, me to you. Me to the guy who's a goat herder in Africa, and I love that pelt. I want his milk. I want his cheese. It's the best cheese in the world. I want to transact with that man. No bank, no Visa, no MasterCard between you and I. That's what crypto is. And I don't need their regulation telling me what I can do and what I can't do with my own money. And by the way, when you put your money in a bank, that ain't your money. The second you put that money in the bank, that is not your money. I'm just saying, I know you all know that, but I need you to know that when you own XRP, that is your money. When you own Bitcoin, that is your money. When you own Ethereum, that is your money. You own that. And don't ever leverage it. And please do not go into debt to buy it. You don't need it. The coins that you have now are going to make you beyond wealthy. I know it hasn't happened yet. I know, scoreboard, I get it. But I've got to roll, guys. Man, I went on a rant tonight. You pull the string in the back and the guy just starts barking stuff out. I don't know. It's very, I know people love the shirt. Brother Chris made this for us. And I'm telling you, it's absolutely, people read it and they can't help but smile, especially if they own XRP. It's so awesome. I love it. Okay, guys, I got to get out of here. I have a conference call with the B-Man and maybe others. I'm surprised he didn't show up in the chat. But I want you all to know that I love you very much. I want you to know that you're holding the right coins, plural. Remember, do something good for somebody. Find somebody who needs a pat on the back or a hug, or mow their lawn, or do some chores for them, or bring them something. Somebody who's lonely and really doesn't have a lot of friends, just bring something by. It's a thought. It's not what you bring. It's the fact that you did bring and that you thought about them. It means a lot to people. It really does. And Crypto Professor, man, I love you, brother. I got to meet so many people, and he is, honest to God, guys, the people in our community, they're better men than I, truly. There are some people in our group that would absolutely blow. I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag here, guys. Since there's quite a few of you here, I'm putting together a meetup, okay? And there's going to be a lot to come because it's still 9 months out, okay? There's a lot to be coming our way. But I want you guys to hear this. This is going to happen in January or February in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale area, so we can fly in and all be together. The thing that I noticed over the last 3 years is the XRP show got so big that and it's in Vegas, and I love Vegas. Don't get me wrong. There's so much to do in Vegas and it's great things, but I want to have a meetup, and I want you to know the other content providers and the people like Crypto Professor and Zip and Kenny, and I can't name them all. These people, Simon and Melissa, these people have hearts. They're walking around. They're walking hearts is what they are. And I know everybody in this chat is the same way. Because how do I know that? I gave my number and I gave my email out to a bunch of people. So I've talked to hundreds of you for hours at a time. And I hear the same story over and over and over. And it goes something like this. Allan, I can't wait until I can afford to help others. I don't care how. I don't know what. I think I'm going to buy a little farm, and then I'm going to grow food for people, and I'm going to do this, or I'm going to buy this daycare center, or I'm going to buy this center, or I'm going to buy this healing place, or I'm going to buy this place of spirituality, or I'm going to do this. Every one of you has told me the same story, and I'm not exaggerating. I have not heard one person say, I'm going to buy a large house. Not one. I mean, you should buy a large house if that's what you're into. Seems like a lot of cleaning to me, but don't really get me started on the cleaning. Elizabeth, never mind. We think of others. That's why you're in the position in which you're in today. The prosperity coming to you is deserved because of what you are going to, with your heart, do for others. That means I want to put something together that I'm hoping even just anybody can afford. And I'm trying to keep the cost down on the show as much as possible. Vegas has gotten pricey. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination blaming Brad. Vegas is Vegas, baby, and it's expensive. A bottle of water, $11 is just, I'm sorry. We're not, I can't, if I never go back there, I'd be okay. Well, I shouldn't say that. The golf courses are nice. I kind of like that. And my wife likes to play poker. So we'll probably be back. But man, it was absurd. Like the average person can't afford that. So I want to do something for the average person, and I'm going to get as many channels, XRP in particular, channels that I can in that room for 2 days. And we're just going to, how do I say it? Network, share, become part of each other's lives. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it for as cheap as this man can do it. Only it's not going to be in some dump. It's going to be in the food will be off the charts. I'm not talking bologna sandwiches here. I'm talking incredible food, incredible times. I want you to be able to bring your children. I want you to be able to bring your cousins and your friends, because that's who we are. We're a family. We're the XRP family. And it's not going to be a big sales pitch. And it's not going to be like, oh, that guy's a CEO of a company. And oh, there's the VIP section. And I'm not bagging on anybody that runs a show like that. There is no VIP section at my show. You're going to sit next to me. You're going to sit next to Brad. You're going to be in my golf cart. You're going to be, we're people. I'm a human being. Please. I just love it, and it's going to be so much fun. And I got to get out of here. I'm already late. That's the story of my life. But being late to conference calls anyway. Hopefully, I'm late to the other side, if you know what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for this evening. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay blessed, do well for others, and be the best human being you can. And if you can't, don't take it out on yourself. Do better next day. And know that I love you all. And we are out. We're not out. We're